listen, never in my life associated the word boring with baseball.
We know what's up.
Me? Yeah. Famous? Yeah.
And I'm like giddy over there smiling like, we're about to win this shit.
Did everyone give you crap? Give me a good host story.
I'm not picking it up.
We both love the game.
We talk about it every day.
Getting on baseball.
Having some popcorn, you're fooling around your phone.
I'd have to wait in line for 3 hours.
Hang on, because it's about to be a wild ride.
There's no human being on the planet I'd rather talk to right now than Nick Lovullo.
Wow.
Yeah. I always say that every time I saw you, but last time I talked to you in a capacity of an interview, you were actually wearing a uniform as a player. I should say that. I know that managers wear uniforms, and you are the manager of the South Bend Cubs, and we're going to get to that. But it is so good to talk with you. I always enjoy talking with you. I always enjoy every time you get up to bat in spring training, sending a video to your dad. There's the DBacks Manager Torey Lovullo. First off, how are you? You good?
Yeah, man, everything's great. Everything's going good. What years was that? How long ago was that?
Oh my goodness! So I looked this up. So your last year, you played a little bit after. So you were drafted by the. So in case people don't know, you were drafted out of Holy Cross by the Red Sox. You played in the Red Sox organization. Well, you drafted in 2013, is that right?
I was 16.
2016?
That was my senior year of college, yeah.
Okay. I went all the way back to your freshman year of college.
Yeah, that was my
Yeah, so you were drafted in 2016. You played in the Red Sox organization until you were basically, correct me if I'm wrong, basically a victim of the COVID cuts, right?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of that. They made a bunch of releases at one time during that spring of 2020, but also, I just don't know if I was good enough anymore to play.
You were good enough. You made it to AAA. You were good enough. I am saying you were good enough.
It's probably a little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so your last year in AAA, you went to AAA in Pawtucket in 2019, I believe.
Yep.
So you asked the question. It's a long-winded way of me answering this. I think that probably I was sending videos of you in spring training games to your dad. What would that have been, like 2018 maybe?
Yeah, probably 18 or 19.
Yeah.
Maybe the beginning of 20. I don't know, because we all reported and we had like a week or two of real spring training before things got shut down in 2020.
Yeah, that was glorious. You played in, I remember you played in like a decent amount of Major League spring training games, right?
Yeah, exactly. I probably had about 10 to 12, each year from 18 to 19 and a few in 20. I was like, always going to back up, come in like the 8th or 9th inning, maybe get one at bat, face someone throwing like 100, try and put an at bat together. But
what was your fondest? This is a question I did not anticipate asking, but what was your fondest spring training Major League game moment?
There's one that stands out in particular. This was in 2020, and so again, right before things closed down. But we're facing the Rays, and I hit a triple at home. And it was off like the top of the JetBlue Green Monster. It's probably like, 5 feet from being a home run. So I had about 15 to 20 at bats in big league spring training games, and that was by far my best at bat.
Do you remember who was against you? You don't remember?
It was a guy by the name of Richie or Sam McWilliams. McWilliams is the last name. I believe it's Sam.
All right. All right.
Yeah, and if you go back like in the video, because I still have it, go back in the video, Randy Arozarena is playing left field. So he's the one who like fields the ball, throws it in, makes a crazy throw to home. We score a run, then I end up getting a third. So that was definitely the highlight of my spring training games.
I think I remember that. Because believe me, when you have memorable moments and when broadcasting spring training games, you remember them. But listen, you've gone on to great things here. You manager the South Bend Cubs, single A, Midwest League, correct? Midwest
Yep.
League.
Yeah.
And you had previously already been manager. But this is the highest level that you've managed this year. And I want to get into the art of managing in minor league baseball. But I guess the thing, top of mind thing for me, Nick, is that, and I'm going to have a real hard time not calling you Torey in this entire interview, so I apologize.
That's all right. You would not be the first person to do that, and you probably won't be the last. So,
all right. Well, first of all,
I'll give you one or two before I correct you.
All right. Well, first of all, did you? I gave you a sticker, correct?
Yeah.
A Baseballs and Boring sticker.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you the magic that sticker had for the Lovullo family in the World Series, correct?
Yeah, it's undefeated.
I think he may have had it in the All-Star game, but that doesn't count. I'm not counting that. I'm only counting actually games that matter. But in case people don't know, gave Torey, Nick's dad, a sticker. He put it in his hat for Game 2 of the World Series, and he won. And I gotta be honest. I mean, Mike Hazen, who's coming on the podcast a little bit later this week.
Oh, cool.
You know him. He was like obsessed with that. He was obsessed with like the vibes and the good luck that the sticker. He had forgotten his sticker, and he had to like send for someone to get it back at his house. I mean, I don't know if your dad was that way, but I did appreciate your dad putting it in his hat and actually showing the power of the sticker. So I hope that you have. If you don't, I won't blame you if you've misplaced it. I saw you at the All-Star game, a lot going on, but if you need more stickers for good luck, I'll be happy to send them to you.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's in my office right now at the field. I've yet to put it in my hat because I don't think he told me that's exactly where he put it. So maybe that's what I need to start doing coming up this upcoming week.
So that's on me. I did not offer you proper instructions.
Yeah, you didn't give me exactly.
It was I think moments after. Well, I gave one. I forced one on your dad. I'm going to be honest with you. I forced another sticker on your dad. But moments after that, Nick, I went up to Luis Arise and I gave him a sticker. And I've told this story on the podcast. But this is at the All-Star game. I went to give it to him, and he waved me off, and then pulled the sticker out of his back pocket.
Oh,
yeah, he carries it around. So,
wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So
and he's doing it too this year. Does he wear it in games? Is he back pocketed or
back all the time? That's what he does. It's science. It's science. Managers win, hitters hit. So, So Nick, I want to get to this. So, it's so great that you're doing what you're doing and doing it so well. And I kind of want, it's a hard thing though, like moving on, right? It's a hard thing moving on from playing. And especially when you get as close as you did at AAA. Talk to me a little bit about that decision, about how that evolution of, did you know when you were playing that you wanted to do this? And how hard it was to sort of pull the cord on that and take this direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, because at the time, I after college, I had a feeling I was going to get drafted. That's all that I wanted to do was play, be a professional baseball player and make it to the major leagues and have a major league career as a player. And so, when we were talking in 2020, when I got released, it was hard. It was really hard. It's just kind of the first time in my life where I was like, I don't know what I want to do, really. Do I want to keep playing? Do I want to try and pursue other opportunities in baseball? Do I want to get into something completely different? Because at that time, there's just a lot of questions in your mind. There's a lot of doubt. There's a lot of kind of like just anticipation of what could potentially be next. So fortunately for me, I was able to take some time off, and there was kind of nothing really going on in minor league baseball at that time. So I kind of just got a chance to get away from the game and just really think about what it was that I wanted to do, and not have to make like a rash, hurried decision. And after a lot of time thinking, and talking to those closest to me, family, friends, loved ones, the consensus was that I wanted to play. I wanted to give it one more shot, and so to speak. And so I decided that I was going to do everything I could to continue the dream, continue everything that I've been working for. And so I came back in 2021 and was able to get another opportunity and played again.
Miami, right? Miami.
Yep, exactly. I was supposed to go play indie ball for the Lexington Legends in the Atlantic League, and then right before, this is in May of 21, right before, it was like a week before I was getting ready to go out and report for their spring training, the Marlins call, and that their minor league season had just started. They had a ton of injuries. They had a bunch of holes open up. They needed infielders. And so I pretty much went from my house. I was living with my girlfriend at the time in Irvine, California. Went from literally doing everything, just working out, balls in the parking lot, right? Like I was doing that, trying to get ready for the season. And then the Marlins called and they're like, "Hey, can you be on a flight tonight to Jacksonville?" They want to send me to AAA that night. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready to go. Let's go." So that's how the chapter, the my time with the Marlins started. That was pretty rushed, but I was fortunate enough to get another opportunity. And so then I finished that season, 2021. I got released again by the Marlins, unfortunately, and then I went out and played indie ball for a couple months. And at that point, that was much different. That after 2021 and 2020, the feeling wasn't there anymore. And people tell you all the time, like, when it's your time to stop playing and to move on from the game as a player, you'll have no doubt, you'll have no hesitations, no reservations. And at that time, after everything that happened that year, I felt like I was in that place where I was ready to move on. And so then kind of that started the next chapter.
But you knew at that point, like before, like you said, you sort of didn't know. But after coming back and playing, and then you didn't really want to play anymore, but did you know, okay, this is a step that I want to take. I want to start going down this road of being a manager?
I knew that I wanted to stay in the game somehow. I had that next off season after 2021, I started reaching out to as many contacts as I had in the game, and as a way of kind of networking, but also just picking their brains and listening to any advice or any personal experiences they might have had to get them to where they are. And so, I talked to a bunch of people in front office, coaches, scouting. And so I kind of cast like this wide net over those 3 or 4 areas. And one thing led to another. I had a bunch of different interviews for, like I said, scouting roles, coaching with different organizations. I had a few different leads. And then again, I had to really take some time to think and to reflect about what I wanted to do, because you can be in the baseball industry, but if you're a front office member or a scout, that's a completely different lifestyle. That's a completely different day-to-day path to the big leagues, path to whatever, than it is being a coach or being a manager, being someone in uniform on the field. And so ultimately, that's what I ended up wanting to do was be a coach, to be able to keep putting the uniform on, and to be able to be there hands-on, helping players, helping others reach their dreams and reach their goals of becoming big league baseball players. Because I walked that path and I knew exactly what their lives look like and what kind of takes place. And so I think that everything that I went through kind of helped me lead me to make that decision.
So when you get the job, you get that first job, and tell me again, the first one.
I was the bench coach in Tennessee.
That's right, double A Tennessee, which is not insignificant. I mean, it's double A, and you probably had guys who probably in the major leagues right now, right?
Oh, for sure, yeah, that was awesome. awesome. I'm a first year coach, and I credit the front office for trusting me in that position, and the coaching staff. The manager there, his name was Michael Ryan. I learned so much from him, and he just prepared me and helped me become the coach I am today. But yeah, we had guys like Christopher Morel, Nelson Velasquez, Javier Assad, some pretty Alexander Canario, Matt Mervis, some pretty notable names that I was, first year coach, just trying to figure out what coaching was, and I'm working with these guys every single day. So
what was the thing that you, when you started doing it, that you didn't anticipate? We all go into everything we think we have a pretty good, you get the job because you nailed the interview, right? I mean, you sold them that, hey, I have a pretty good idea of what, and with the understanding you have to learn. Well, what did you learn out of the gate when it came to that job?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think something that I thought I knew, but it was like more reassuring that I found out afterwards, was just how much it is about the players. Like I didn't really see the behind the scenes and how much goes into how many resources and how many people and just the village it takes to get players better in the minor leagues and to help them get to where they go. I kind of, as a player, I only saw like the tip of the iceberg with that, and I had no idea the conversations that were taking place, or just the plans that are in place for each particular player that I see now on the other side.
So, a cliche question, about advice your dad gave, and I'm going to ask you about advice your dad gave about being a manager, but I'm going to go back to, you were a bench coach. I mean, that's a unique position.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bench coach, and I don't know if the advice he gave was sort of more general for managing and everything, but what was, I guess, what was that advice that for, I'm sure he's giving you advice along the way, but what was that initial advice that he gave you?
Yeah, the big thing that I think I've learned from him, and this was as a player, coach, and that you think others want from you, or the person that you think is needed at that specific time, right? Just be yourself and just do your best.
Just be yourself and do your best.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, it's pretty simple, but at the end of the day, like, if you do those two things, then you're good.
Well, that's the challenge, right? When you're young, and you were young, I mean, you're still young, but you're what? So if I'm doing the math right, 27, 28 when you get that job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And as you said, I mean, you have players who probably aren't that far off in age, and it's different. And I know that this happens in the major leagues, but it's different when they're 20 something and they're expecting the grizzled guy as the mentor or whatever. But when you're young, you're saying, okay, maybe I got to do this or do that. And Nick, example that I'll give is that I remember Theo Epstein's first year as general manager of the Red Sox. He was 28 years old, right?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, how does he relate? How are they looking at him? How do you? And I all I could think of, like, well, the temptation of trying to be something that you think that you should be, it must be so great. I don't know if you had that same temptation.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. But yeah, like the thing with players that I knew as a player, and now I'm seeing it even more from the other side, is just gaining trust, right? Gaining trust and being there for the players when at any given time, whether things are going good or whether things are going, especially when things are going bad. You just need to be there for them and be in their corner, and that's been, I think, the biggest thing for me, and what I try and do each and every day.
It's such a good point. Yeah, it's such a good point. And I've said this, and I think, the times I've got a chance to talk to you, I feel like you're this way, but I've said this to people about your dad, is that, and I actually had a Cape League manager tell me the exact same thing unsolicited, which was, I don't know if a lot of human beings who is better at listening to what you're saying and actually being curious in terms of what you're saying, and then, in other words, Nick, like when he would come on the radio with me, he would ask me about, why does this work? Why does this work? Why does this work? How does that work? And I always thought, for a manager, that must be such a valuable tool to have. And I think again, the times I've talked to you, I feel like it's ingrained in you. I don't know if you feel that way or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Asking questions, that's a big thing that we talk about with the coach, is just not being afraid to ask questions, not being afraid to challenge and try and push the initiative, not being afraid of failure, because that's where the growth is, right? When you ask questions, that's when you learn. And that's where the money's made, when you learn and you're pushing yourself to get better, like that's what it's all about. And so, yeah, like you said, like asking questions, connecting emotionally, being curious, like all those things, kind of going back to what I was talking about earlier, is helps you gain trust. And to kind of go back to that question too, it's like the players, if they don't really care, if how old you are, what your experience is, if you've made it to the big leagues or not. Like those are all things I thought might matter. But again, if you just show the support and genuinely care and want to help them get to where they want to go, that's the key to gaining the trust and the confidence and respect. And then once you have that relationship, then anything's a possibility, everything's open.
Such a good way to put it. So this season, what has been the biggest thing that you learned this season with this team?
With the team we have now?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great question. Last year I was in the ACL, so that was rookie ball, and that with there it's a lot of just there's so many teaching moments, because the guys are so young. It's a lot of their first time in the United States. It's a lot of their first just experience in professional baseball, so there's so much that they don't know, that we get a chance to kind of mold and kind of push them in the right direction, right? And so going up 2 levels, I thought that generally the players would know more information, but still there's so many times where it's like, oh, this is a great teaching opportunity, like this is something that they don't know. So how are we going to teach them? How are we going to help them learn? How are we going to help them grow? And it could be anything from something happens on the field or just like their day-to-day preparation, so I guess I thought that it was that gap was gonna be a little bigger, but I guess it hasn't been as big as I was thinking, and that's been great, because the more coaching opportunities that you can have, the more impact you can have on a potential player. That's what it's all about as a coach, and just trying to help out however we can.
That's a great answer, a great perspective. I'm curious, when you were, I don't know if I saw you at the World Series last year. Again, it gets pretty chaotic and pretty crowded, but when you're watching that, obviously you're seeing your dad manage on the biggest station. This is what you envision for yourself. Everybody who wants to be a manager envisions himself having the pressure of managing a major league team in the World Series. I'm anxious to hear from your perspective as a guy who is learning. Forget about watching your dad. Any major league game, or any game, you go and you're like, oh, that was interesting. They did that, or that was interesting. They did that. Were you able to take things out of watching your dad go on that playoff run, or even the World Series, or was it just you were just nervous for your dad?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Like I said, I'm always trying to learn things and help use that information to apply to what I'm trying to do and where I'm trying to go. So yeah, it's an incredible opportunity for me to have him be who he is, because we can see something happen in the game, and then I can go and ask him about it afterwards. Like they have the bases, we're on third base and 1 out, and infield's in. You see a ground ball hit, and in my mind, I think they're running contact, but they don't. They're seeing it through, And so then it's like, okay, keep a mental note of that, And I'm like, okay, I wonder why they did it this way, and I'm trying to figure it out in my own head, and like I'm sure everyone else is at home. But then, yeah, being able to go and ask and to see exactly what the process was. And that's something that I really respect about my dad, is that he doesn't really care what other people think. He's so confident and believes in himself and his decision making and his process. And he's like, oh yeah, this is what, he explains it like it's nothing. This, we did this because this, that, ball was hit and, happened and it just didn't work out for us, or yeah, it was the right decision. It's like he's able to take all the emotion out of it and just make like a simple and smart decision.
That is a great trait, and you would know that better than I would, honestly. Like I can tell you what I know about being around your dad, but I don't know. Sometimes you don't know how things affect, and when you're in a manager, you're in the crosshairs. This it, and you're also going to sleep second guessing or thinking about what should I do, what should I do, what should I do. When, especially Nick, when you're young, I can tell you, because this obviously relates apples to apples. As a high school basketball coach, when I'm young, I'm like, all I could think of, I was consumed by, like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? And I would imagine maybe when you first started out, you're that way, and now you're a little bit more secure, and now you're a little bit more,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's what, like you said, when you think about like what could have happened, it's a mess. Right? Because you can go down so many different rabbit holes, so many different thoughts, and okay, if I would have done this differently, then this person would have went in, and he would have guarded this person, or if I would have brought this person in this inning, like maybe he wouldn't have hit that hit, and that's where I don't know. I kind of talked about it earlier. It's just be yourself, and be prepared, right? That's something that I'm learning is critically important, and I always try and be as prepared as I can and anticipating situations that happen, and just have a plan, be prepared, be yourself, and just trust that the decision you make at that time is the right one. But, and then if you do that, then you can live with maybe if it doesn't work out your way.
I love that. I love it.
And then what I can't be okay with myself is if I'm not prepared and I make a rash decision and then it doesn't work out, because then it's on me,
Yeah, but I got a feeling you're always prepared. That's the Holy Cross education. Who was the best player you ever played with?
At Holy Cross?
No. No. Brian Abraham. No. He was before your time. No, who was the best player you ever? I mean, maybe it was Holy Cross. Who was the best player you ever played with?
At any given time.
Yeah. It's no slight on anybody else.
Yeah, this is a tough question. I had to on the same team or played against.
I'll do both. That's okay.
The best player, I'm trying to think. I'm probably the best player I ever played against would probably either be Vlad Jr. or Bo Bichette. That was in 2018 when they were all in New Hampshire together.
Yep.
That team was also played against like Pete Alonso, Jeff McNeil, Tim Tebow when he was a baseball.
Oh, you did.
Player.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, I wouldn't throw him up in that. He's
it's great.
Yeah.
That's
so.
Were you shifting on Tim Tebow?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We shifted him.
Did you?
He's a big pull guy. Yeah. Huge pull. And yeah, we put that was back when there were no shift rules, so you could put the left second baseman in shallow right, shortstop. Everyone was shifted over him.
I love it. You did the Tebow shift. I don't know if that's a thing, but it is now.
Yeah, we should go back and look at it. He actually hit a bomb. That was in 2018. He hit a bomb off us. We opened up at Binghamton, and he hit a bomb. His first pitch, the first pitch or first at bat of the season. He hit a bomb off us.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Wow. I remember he got a hit in the spring training game off Eduardo Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, he had his moments, So,
Yeah, I mean, kind of just like any other minor league baseball player, I guess, right?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I would sign you over him every day. But you don't you don't know who you would say is the best player you played with?
I played with. I didn't know it at the time that he was going to be this good, but I played with Mauricio Dubon in 2016 for a little bit.
Was he a pitcher?
Dubon?
No, I know. I felt like he was also a pitcher. I know he's not a pitcher.
No, he was playing shortstop.
Yeah.
And like I think I just got drafted. He was probably like 20 or 21, so I was older than him. And he was like little and skinny, but he was just I was like, wow, this guy can play. Like I didn't know at the time, but I was like, this kid's probably gonna be good. And then sure enough, he's probably 7 or 8 years in the big leagues now. And
yeah, he's Mauricio Dubon was better than the kids on the hill in the Worcester.
yeah, that's who I went from. Nothing against them, nothing against all my boys. But yeah,
it's all good stuff. By the way, do you know the story of how your dad got called up to the major leagues, right?
I haven't heard that one.
You haven't heard that one?
I haven't heard it in a while. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, well, in short, I just like telling the story about how Lou Whitaker blew out his knee dancing at Studio 54 the night before.
That's right.
I mean, I feel like there is some story within your path. It is weird how baseball works, right? Like you say, who knows? Like, who knows if the COVID thing doesn't come around? Maybe you play a little bit longer. Maybe you don't get this jump start of managing. You know what I mean? It's.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just feel like it's worked out really, really well for you. I'm happy for you, and it sucks, man. Like everybody wants to be a major league player, especially when you're in AAA. But I do feel like there's moments that sort of lead you down the right path, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, right?
All right.
And
if it's not Studio 54, I don't know what it was, but it's okay. Well, I got to be honest with you, Nick. This has been one of the most fun conversations I've had in a long time. So I really appreciate it. I like that, like I said, I saw you play. I love the way you played. I loved your attitude. And when I saw you sort of gone down this managerial road, I knew that it was going to be a great fit. Is a great fit. And yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's always fun talking to your dad, but tell your dad he's number 2 now behind you.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that clip.
I'm gonna text him right now.
Text him right now, and you can cement that by putting that sticker in your hat for tonight's game. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
All right, and send me a picture of it just to prove it. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Likewise, I've been a big fan of you, and it was an honor to be on with you, talk it up a little bit. So, thanks for everything.